Timeless reading for Virgo, starting with the card Joy, followed by Earth, Closed, Wrong Direction, Yes, and Awake. So there's a forth and back and forth. I feel like there is currently some kind of energy of joy that you find yourself in after some kind of either disappointment or annoyance. You finally feel joyful again. You might also enjoy the environment around you. You might feel very connected to Earth and nature. Maybe you are hiking a lot, something like that, or gardening, whatever makes you feel connected to nature. Just enjoying the moment. But then suddenly someone, either as a person, is coming back, or there's a situation that comes knocking back at your door. And you do not want to welcome this situation or this person. There is some kind of offer. Either it is a private personal offer for a partnership, friendship, family related relationship, or it is a business offer, or whatever it is. You don't want it anymore. This is something you left behind. It is something that once brought you joy, or someone that once caused you joy. And you thought, like, this is a good idea. Taking this offer is a good idea. Working on this offer is a really good idea. I'm going to put a lot of joy into it, energy into it, effort into it. I like it. And then it turns out that it doesn't come to any fruition. It just led to a huge disappointment, even though you thought all the components were there. Agreeing to this offer will be fruitful, but it wasn't. And then you made your way out of this disappointing situation. You might have even fallen into a huge black hole. That something that used to bring you joy was not only disappointing but devastating at the end. And finally you're crawling out of that hole. Reconnecting to yourself, to nature, healing. And then it comes back. Please, please come back. For many of you, I feel like it's not necessarily about a person that wants to reconnect with you. The offer might come through a person verbally, but it doesn't have to be that there is some kind of ex-partner or something like that, someone like that wanting you back. It could be a project or a business that you have been working on, or some kind of education that you wanted to pick up to improve something in your career, something that just didn't work out in the end, even though it looked really good in the beginning. And that someone comes along, an old colleague, you don't want to come back. I'm sure this time it will work out because something has been straightened out, something has been improved since you have left, and if you come back this time, I'm sure it will work out. It will not be disappointing again. But yeah, there's just like this huge annoyance, like, no, this was so terrible, this experience, I'm not gonna come back to this. And you have already started to walk a new path. After tapping back into the energy of joy, reconnecting to Earth, you might have found some inspiration, wandering far on a new path, and then comes this offer. And what I feel like is that you are sure you should not go back to some kind of place here. But somehow, as soon as you decide, no, I'm gonna just cross my arms and stay closed and say no and walk my own path, something will also be stopped in your new path. Very obviously, like, no, you can't walk this path anymore. You thought it was your new correct path, but actually you have to go back to the old. And now a warning, do not mistake this. I'm not talking about something very toxic and abusive. If there was something or someone very dangerous in the past, someone who was abusive, some kind of exploitation, some kind of danger there, then this reading is not for you. This is more like, let me just pick up an example to express what I mean. Let's say you decided you would start to learn French. And you decide you will spend a little less money, save some money so you can pay for this French class. And then you go to this French class and it's just like burdening because twice a week after work you still have to visit a class. And you are not very talented at learning this language. And it just becomes super disappointing. And then someone comes back, you know, saying like, oh, you already paid for it. I know you failed all the tests and maybe you wanted to have the degree of this French class to, I don't know, get a new position in a job or get an entirely new job. Maybe, you know, something was connected to taking this French class. Maybe you were hoping that it will be one more step on the ladder to some kind of success. And at the end, it just all didn't work out. And then someone will try to encourage you, like, oh my God, please come back to the classes. You don't have to pay it all again. Just give it another chance. I'm sure this time we have a new teacher. Maybe it will work out now. Something like this, as an example, is what I'm thinking of here in this storyline. Like, I'm not telling anyone to go back to someone who is abusive, like an abusive partner or an abusive friend or family member or a terrible boss. That's not what I'm speaking of here. It's just something that was very disappointing and something that looked promising and successful and joy-bringing, but it wasn't. It was just disappointing. And you don't want to go back there, and you already picked your new path and you started to walk the new path and you started feeling like, yeah, this time, this is right. This is the right direction. But as soon as someone comes and remembers you to go back to the old path, your new path crumbles, even though you don't want it to crumble. And then you might realize that the old path needs a second chance, and the old path is the right path. It was just the wrong timing, or it was just a lesson going through the old path the first time. But the second time, yes, you will have the key in your hand, and this time you will be open, you will be successful in locking the door open. Maybe the first time you went there, you didn't have the key. Maybe you found the key on the second path, which doesn't mean that you have to walk the entire path. Maybe you just had to walk it partially until you find the key, and then you can go back to the old path. Then we have the card Awake here. And yes, so this is something about becoming aware of this spiritual lesson. Becoming aware of why sometimes things have to be so complicated, or they appear to be too complicated. Why do I have to do things 2 or 3 times until they work out? Why can't it work out the first time? Because I put so much effort in it, I paid for something, I learned for something, I studied, I blah blah blah. I put so much effort into something, I was so dedicated. Why didn't it work out in the first place? I don't know. Life may be revealing the secret to you one day. The only lesson you can learn right now, that sometimes that's just how it is. Sometimes you have to try again. So there's a spiritual awakening in this situation. We also have at the bottom of the deck the card Open, which is the opposite of the card Closed, number 65, number 66. That's how I drew my tarot deck here. I call it the duality tarot. So there is always these kind of pairs. So now you're open again, and maybe in this old path that you are going back to, even if it's just a class that you have been taken or a project or something, maybe you will also reopen up to someone, start a new friendship, a new relationship. That's a very positive feeling, a very positive card here. And I'm saying it again, it is not about going back to something dangerous and toxic. It is just going back to something that was disappointing and not more or worse than disappointing. Okay, I will pull some health and lifestyle cards for you. Cut alcohol. Stop smoking. Oh. Gift. Well, maybe for some of you, you've been going to an anti-smoking and drinking help group and it didn't work. Maybe you have to go back there. I don't know. Sorry, it was just coming up. It's probably not for everyone. Baking, lungs, just right below the stop smoking card. So that seems to be important right now. Savings, phone, eyes, and the last one is hair. Now I will also pull some numbers and letters for you. Oops. So there's a W or an M, you decide. 3, 3, 6 or 9, up to you. Number 2 we have T, R, Z, E, I, another T. 3 T's, maybe that's important. Let me see if I can find some word in here. No, I can't. Yeah, I can find one. It's which. And met. There's a name, Tim. We also have wet. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it here. Maybe you can find something here for yourself. Thank you for watching.